This is used by a lot of career experts that you only have two choices, either choose this or that. And a more common way is to present two extreme ends of the opposite as the only possibilities that exist in front of you. Let's say one is preparing for a government job or things like that. Either you'll pass or fail. Like, there's no other career you can take, there are no other 100 steps in between that you can make a career out of, but these are like the only two options. A person who is very insecure, they tend to resort to opinions of experts, saying that whatever these opinions of this specific expert, having done this PhD and things like that, has an opinion, they'll present it as a fact without any actual supporting evidences or actual supporting. Okay, so one viewer had reached out to me that they're like a lot of fools, and at times they just use certain things. They just don't listen to me a lot when I'm trying to debate with them. So, what are like some common patterns through which we can understand that fool is acting like a fool? So, I just want to help you with some logical fallacies from a debating world that we as humans resort to. So, the first is this tendency called as ad hominem. What this basically means that, let's say, whatever argument he's bringing to the table, we'll just try to attack the person. We'll not value the argument. We'll just go to that person on a personal level, start attacking from which place he comes from, what is his context, and things like that. This is a very, very common strategy. This is predominantly attributed to, let's say, politicians, because let's say if someone exposes a politician, the first thing that he does is just attacks the person, that he's anti this, anti that. So a lot of people pick up these archetypes from the type of news or this type of media that they're seeing on the common day-to-day net or things like that. So a good way to discredit this is just bring it back to the argument. Okay, like, we can come to me later, but right now, whatever this opinion and argument is, the facts of it are laid bare here, naked. Just address those facts first, and probably then we can look at other things. Another one of the most common things is called the straw man, which basically means that a person tries to distort the core argument to destroy the argument. So the idea here is that let's say you have this argument, a core argument. The person in front of you distorts the current argument, that is, adds a lot of flavors, dilutes it into a weaker version so that they can easily kind of rip it apart, because they're not able to come at you with a solid argument, a solid point. So instead of engaging with your actual point, they invent some other complete flimsy narrative that this is how it was. So you're saying this, they'll try to distort it. It's a classic move again used by a lot of common day to day men who are just more interested in not understanding the point of view that the other person is coming from, but they're just more interested in proving themselves right, that their ego is so high. So an ideal way, or let's say a common way to deal with them, is just again coming back to the argument, because all these things, if you just bring it back to the core argument by asking questions again and again, that just helps to set the ground clear and just not run away behind all these things. Another thing which I think is more predominant, this is used by a lot of career experts, that you only have two choices, either choose this or that. And a more common way is to present two extreme ends of the opposite as the only possibilities that exist in front of you. Let's say one is preparing for a government job or things like that. Either you'll pass or fail. Like, there's no other career you can take, there are no other 100 steps in between that you can make a career out of, but these are like the only two options. Just oversimplifying things, that either this exists or this, rather than finding a middle way that there are like 100, 200, maybe a billion other options, because we are so many people. So this again thrives a lot in social media, that either you choose us, you are from this side, a lot of gender arguments, that side, and things like that. And one more thing, so I'll probably make a more detailed series with a lot more practical examples, but probably I just would add a couple of more fallacies to it. So another thing which comes very predominant is this appeal to whatever the authority is saying is the correct version. Why does that happen? Let's say a person who is very insecure, they tend to resort to opinions of experts, saying that whatever these opinions of this specific expert, having done this PhD and things like that, has an opinion, they'll present it as a fact without any actual supporting evidences or actual supporting facts. So there's a very common thing spoken in the researcher field that let's say a person has a PhD in one specific thing. Another person can also have a PhD in a completely different thing. So a lot of opinions exist, but that's why I keep on saying that just base yourself on facts. Facts are not changeable. Opinions can change as per one's context, situations, and things like that. So whenever a person is trying to appeal to authority to present a point, just see that they're just trying to hide behind certain credentials when their logic or when they are unable to explain that why is it that this specific thing is happening. Another very predominant fallacy, or let's say tool used by manipulators and narcissists, is this bandwagon fallacy, where people just delegate their individual thinking to the outside world under the pretense that just because everyone is doing so, it might be right. Because the herd and everyone is walking this path, this might be right for me as well. You see that the type of people who always have the most popular opinions and just keep on changing their advices and opinions with popular belief, those sorts of people kind of fall prey to this effect, this fallacy. So it's the classic saying. I'm sure you might have heard it, that the Pied Piper leading the rats. So rats in this case are the herd. So they would just go where the Pied Piper kind of leads them. A good way to judge that what is the context that that person is coming from is just seeing that what type of choices has that person done, which makes him or her stand out in a very unique way, in a very authentic way. In which situations has that person worked against the crowd? So then that just tells you about the type of courage or the type of authenticity that that person genuinely holds. And the last point with which I want to kind of conclude this is, some people keep on investing in bad relationships, jobs, and marriages, thinking that we have invested so much already. Like, we should just invest a lot more in it so that a return can come to us. This is very commonly known as the sunk cost fallacy, that I cannot just quit now just because I've invested so much time and energy. So sometimes just also people use this in arguments that you think we are fools, you have invested so much time, how can we quit now, you don't understand, and things like that. Just show them the facts, and if they are unable to listen, just probably walk away, because sometimes the best response that you can give to fools is just walking away after you have laid out your argument in a very specific manner, in a very specific way. Let's say a person has spent 8-10 years preparing for a government job, still he feels on that, okay, I must invest more and more time, so many exams are pending and things like that. Just present your facts and walk away, because you cannot force a person to change until they themselves understand that what is it that they're losing by investing in the wrong relationships and jobs. So I think these were like some logical tools and fallacies used by idiots. Just be aware of it. These are probably learnings for my own self as well, because you never know what type of arguments, what type of people, context, and opinions a certain person can come up with. It's always good to be aware of certain things and certain scientific established fallacies and facts and things like that. Anyhow, let me know what you feel about this video, and do write that how much work you have done. Until then, this is Debashish Pindra from Debu Ki Dastak signing off. Cheers. Bye.